Welcome to the ESG training series. This module is match requirement, and it will be useful to you when completing your budget table in section D, financial plan of your ESG application. To begin with, here are two relevant regulations. 1. Matching requirements. Refer to 24 CFR 576.201 in the ESG interior room. Number 2. Match record keeping and reporting requirements. Refer to 24 CFR 576.500O. 1. Matching contribution can be cash contribution or non-cash contribution. Reference 576.201D. The grantee must keep records of the source and use of all contributions. In other words, you must keep documentation of where the match came from and where it went. Reference 576.500O. 2. Contribution must be for an ESG eligible expense for the benefit of ESG eligible clients. Reference 576.201D1. Number 3. Grantees must ensure the rules of matching contribution do not prohibit them from being used as match with ESG. Reference 576.201B2 Roman 1, and should be researched prior to the commitment. Evidence, that is, written documentation, showing funds are eligible should be maintained in the grant file. 4. Contributions cannot be cross-matched. For example, if ESG funds are used to match another grant, then those grant funds cannot be used as match for ESG. Reference 576.201B2 Roman 2. 5. Contribution cannot be double matched, meaning contribution used as match for another program cannot also be counted as the same match for the ESG program. Reference 576.201C5. An example for you. To meet the match requirements for ESG, your agency intends to use in-kind donations of household supplies. The same group of in-kind donated supplies cannot also be counted as match to another grant that needs match. However, if you have more in-kind donated supplies than what is needed to match the ESG grant, the excess can be counted towards another grant. A written tracking system must be used that can clearly identify how much is contributed to ESG and how much is contributed to the other grant. 6. All cash contributions must be expended within the grant period to be counted towards the required match. Non-cash contribution must be made within the grant period. Reference 576.201C3. Expenditures must be documented in the same manner as when spending ESG funds. An example for you as well. For rent, it must be supported by source documentation such as a list. For utilities, it must be supported by source documentation such as the bill. For supplies, it must be supported by source documentation such as an invoice. For salaries, including volunteer time, it must be supported by personnel activity reports. 7. Calculating the value of non-cash contributions must be reasonable. Method used to establish fair market value. Reference 576.201E. The method used to calculate the value must be documented in writing and maintained in the grant file. This ends our match requirement module. Thank you.